Liz Cheney tells George W. Bush to endorse Kamala Harris with its time. Teen Vogue comments as, Kamala Harris is not our savior. But a Donald Trump win would be catastrophic. Avengers stars assemble.
Japan's ruling coalition to lose parliamentary majority. Exit polls show. Georgia's ruling party wins pivotal election. Early results show, as opposition parties cry foul. Uzbekistan set to elect parliament loyal to president.
Montenegro's 2028 EU entry goal is reachable, von der Leyen says. Nearly 1 in 4 French people believe that democracy is not the best political system. Hard-right Dutch government approves unprecedented package of measures to control migration.
AP sources point that Chinese hackers targeted phones of Trump, Vance, people associated with Harris campaign. Reuters reports as accused Iranian hackers successfully peddle stolen Trump email. Russian actors made fake video depicting mail-in ballots for Trump being destroyed, FBI says. In a joint statement, ODNI, FBI and CISA says, Russian actors manufactured and amplified a recent video that falsely depicted an individual ripping up ballots in Pennsylvania.
U.S. trade head urges Brazil to consider risks of China Belt and Road Initiative, as Brazil eyes China's Belt and Road Initiative. U.S. says to reconsider. India does not share Japanese PM Shigeru Ishiba's view of Asian NATO, says India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. China says Australia plagued by systemic racism after diplomat raises concerns about human rights in Tibet and Xinjiang.
Kiev preparing internal plan to strengthen Ukraine. Zelensky confirms. Russian lawmakers ratify pact with North Korea. As U.S. confirms that Pyongyang sent troops to Russia. South Korea warns it may send Ukraine weapons after North Korea sent troops to Russia. South and North Korea troops potentially entering Ukraine war unlikely to stoke regional conflict, analysts say.
At BRICS Summit, Putin welcomes Trump's comments on ending Ukraine war. Putin can't recall Trump threatening to blow up Moscow. At least 7 countries resisting Ukraine's NATO membership invitation, Politico reports. The Telegraph comments as, Russia is on the verge of collapse. Europe cannot abandon targeted sanctions. Israel names Al Jazeera reporters as Gaza militants. Network condemns unfounded allegations. Strike on Iran will make world understand Israel's might, says defense minister. With up to 1,000 missiles, Iranian officials disclosed potential retaliation plans, as reported by the New York Times. IDF soldiers should refuse orders that may be war crimes, Israeli former security advisor tells BBC. CNN reports that more than 130 Israeli reservists signed letter refusing to fight in Gaza and Lebanon.
U.S. confirms North Korea has sent 3,000 troops to Russia for training and possible Ukraine combat. In the U.S., DHS is seeking more than 600 migrants for possible ties to Venezuelan gang. Terrorist attack on state-owned Turkish aerospace industries kills at least 4 people, official says. Turkey hits Kurdish militant targets after a deadly attack on defense company. X admits error led to reinstatement of key suspect in Jamal Khashoggi murder. UK-based dissident can sue Saudi Arabia for alleged spyware, court rules. U.S. charges Iranian Revolutionary Guards official in assassination plot.
The Economist comments as Ukraine is now struggling to survive, not to win. Trump plans to end Russia's war in Ukraine by freezing it if he wins presidential election, FT reports. South Korea considers sending team to Ukraine to monitor North Korean troops.
iPhone 16 now banned in Indonesia over Apple's unfulfilled investment commitments. Apple's first smart home display could pay homage to a classic iMac. OnePlus introduces high-performance OxygenOS 15 based on Android 15.
President of Iran says, we will respond to any stupidity with tact and intelligence. Iran should not make mistake of responding to Israel's retaliatory strikes, announces U.S. Biden says Israel apparently only hit Iran military sites, with my hope is this is the end. Israel sent message to Iran ahead of attack and warned against response.
Satellite photos show Israel hit Iran former nuclear weapons test building, missile facilities researchers say. Israel's first open attack on Iran targets missile sites and apparently spares oil and nuclear ones. International court prosecutor who charged Netanyahu faces sexual misconduct accusation.
EU urged to create intelligence body to counter external threats. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan elevated to BRICS partner status as alliance expands, as 13 countries receive BRICS partner status. Bangladesh bans student wing of ousted Sheikh Hasina's party. In the US, CFPB orders Apple and Goldman Sachs to pay over $89 million for Apple Card failures. In the US, reportedly, 15 corporations used Trump tax cuts to pump $839 billion into buybacks and dividends. Starbucks suspends 2025 guidance as sales slump 7% in Q4.
Yellen says isolationism made America and the world worse off in speech to global finance leaders. Amazon says it has a First Amendment right to union bust. Kamala Harris backs $15 minimum wage in fight with Trump over pay.
FTC's rule banning fake online reviews goes into effect. Celebrity jet tracking accounts have vanished from Threads and Instagram, as Meta suspends accounts tracking Trump, Bezos jets, echoing Elon Musk's X. Google Messages adding enhanced spam protection, sensitive content warnings for nudity.
ODNI, FBI, and CIS announces that Russian influence actors manufactured a recent video that falsely depicted individuals claiming to be from Haiti and voting illegally in multiple counties in Georgia. North Korea pledges to stand by Russia until victory in Ukraine. Moving to a cashless society is a huge security risk that could be exploited by Russia, Sweden, and Norway fear, as they backpedal on plans to go fully digital in shops.
Trump insists he has big lead over Harris, setting stage for 2024 doubts, as Trump claims. Without evidence, he's ahead. Only fraud will stop him. Boeing dismantles diversity team as pressure builds on new CEO. Time names Ukraine's online wedding service among best inventions of 2024. France and Europe need to get finances in order, ECB not says, and ECB must stay nimble on rates because of weak economy, not says. Europe's still best place to live, Irish central bank chief says. Bundesbank chief is mad at Russia's calls for global cooperation.
LRA rebel commander jailed in Uganda for war crimes in landmark case. In New York City, Queens gun traffickers sold assault rifles and brought inoperable RPG to NYC, authorities say.
Mexico's Senate votes to shield judicial reform from top court scrutiny. In Mexico, Televisa chair steps down amid U.S. Department of Justice probe into FIFA bribery. 1 year ago, in USA, Mexico's Televisa reaches $95 million investor settlement over FIFA bribery roll. 7 years ago, broadcasters Fox Sports, Globo, Grupo Televisa SAB implicated at FIFA corruption trial in the U.S. U.S. government witness in FIFA trial says media companies paid bribes.
Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft in race for $4 trillion market cap. Stage is set for tech stocks for another 20% move higher in 2025. Nvidia will win the race to a $4 trillion market cap, but the long-term big tech battle might be different, experts say. Goldman Sachs announced 4 months ago, generative AI could raise global GDP by 7%. Judge sides with FTC, blocking Kate Spade and Michael Kors merger.
In the U.S., federal judge announced that Meta, Google, TikTok must face schools addiction claims. Biden set to apologize to Native Americans for Indian boarding schools. Federal agency closes investigation into RFK Jr. over dead whale carcass, saying allegation unfounded.
Montreal dockworkers to launch one-day strike amid labor standoff. French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe orders a curfew a day after a strike prompted a blackout. Elderly workers now dominate South Korea's labor force as population ages.
China has punished 589,000 people for graft in 9 months. In Argentina, the country's third-largest social security institution was raided for alleged money laundering. In the U.S., Alibaba agrees to $433.5 million settlement in shareholder lawsuit.
Zelensky signs law allowing foreigners to serve as officers in Ukrainian military. Ukraine's Zelensky says North Korean troops are poised to join the war. Cancels UN chief's visit.
U.S. Labor Board wrongly ordered Tesla's Musk to delete anti-union tweet, court rules. UK banks facing billions more in payouts after auto loan ruling. Lloyds suffers £3 billion hit after car finance court ruling. Russia raises interest rate to 21%, its highest in decades. Putin ally warns most companies in Russia face collapse.
In India, working with international agencies, Intelligence Bureau to ban hoax bomb perpetrators, announced by Aviation Minister Naidu. Israeli forces kill Hamas operative in Tulkarem plotting imminent attack. Poland arrests 4 in plot to mail explosives to Canada and U.S.
The S&P 500's golden decade of returns is over, Goldman says. NASA generated $76 billion for U.S. economy in 2023, report says. IMF official says Asia clearly the powerhouse of global economy.
Netflix ads moments feature allowing users to easily share favorite scenes. Vivendi board approves split into 4 companies. Sets December shareholder vote. Concord Music closes $850 million in financing for strategic growth and acquisitions. Digital euro sparks sovereignty battle between EU governments and ECB. North Korean troops are now in Kursk to help Russia, NATO confirms. Orbán congratulates Georgia on not becoming a second Ukraine. Washington Post comments as, to understand the U.S. economic success is to love Harris's plan. Emerson College polling finds that for October 2024 national poll, as Trump 49%, Harris 49%. Bolivia's Morales says shots fired at his car as political tensions rise.
Santander and HSBC join government warnings on QR code-based cyber attacks. The Kaixing Financial Times reported that Bangladesh central bank chief says tycoons linked to Hasina siphoned $17 billion from banks with spy agency help. Japan's central bank to remain undeterred on rate hikes despite LDP's electoral shock. Analysts say Microsoft places assessment in investing in Bitcoin as a voting item for December shareholder meeting. Elon Musk owned X's India revenue and profit declined 90% in financial year 24. UBS CEO says Europe's fragmented banking markets increase costs. HBO documentary identifies Peter Todd as Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. Nigeria court releases Binance executive detained for months. IMF declares global fight against high inflation is almost won.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer moving to NBC. After 5 decades at CBS, Mark Benioff is in talks to sell media company Time to Antenna Group. Takenauts to execute 5th handover on Tiangong Space Station after the docking of Shenzhou 19, demonstrating China's strength in aerospace.
Toyota and NTT to team on AI self-driving to prevent crashes. Polestar says Biden's China tech ban would effectively prohibit sale of its cars in U.S. In the U.S., reportedly 350K hurricane-flooded cars hit the used market. In the U.S., airlines now required to provide automatic refunds for cancelled, significantly delayed flights. Germany recalls envoy to Iran over execution of German-Iranian national. Europe prepares for America First push no matter who wins the U.S. election. Hong Kong pledges more licenses for crypto exchanges by year-end, and Hong Kong unveils AI policy for finance, floats tax breaks for crypto. More than 60% of Indonesian youths invest in crypto, announced in a report. Financial Times report as crypto exchanges turn to derivatives to lure cautious investors.
FTX reaches $228 million deal with crypto company Bybit. Victims sue Wazarex over $235 million hack in class action lawsuit. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo and Bank of America refuse to define unauthorized transaction, as customers lose $320 million to scams on Zelle, claims a report.
Russia publishes new crypto law expanding state control over digital assets. Wall Street to surpass Satoshi as top Bitcoin holder this year. Analysts expect $200,000 BTC soon. Bank of England to press on with digital currency in case banks fall short, Bailey says, and Bitcoin will not replace cash, Bank of England Governor Bailey says.
Former CEO of the defunct digital mine faces Bitcoin fraud charges to the tune of $1.5 million. Barcelona and Real Madrid legends accused of endorsing a €3 billion crypto Ponzi. Litecoin's 2.6 years HODL time ranks second only to Bitcoin, beats Ethereum.
Layer K announces new feature set tailored for blockchain content creators. Coinbase introduces Based Agent 4, creating AI agents in 3 minutes. Polymarket, crypto betting platform, cracks down on US-based users, as whale bets on Trump. Reportedly, the Polymarket whale is placing as many as 71 Trump bets per minute. Politico comments as, a wave of crypto-friendly lawmakers is about to crash Congress. Trump excludes Asian and European cars from vehicle tax break plan. Qualcomm announces collaboration with Google aimed at advancing digital transformation in automotive. Li Auto and Mercedes-Benz AG select Qualcomm's Snapdragon Elite tier automotive platforms for their future commercialized vehicles. TSMC told US of chip in Huawei product after TechInsights finding, source says. As Huawei Technologies' latest AI chips were produced by TSMC.
SEC issues Wells notice to Immutable, alleging IMX token violations, as Immutable says SEC is threatening to sue over sales of IMX token. Immutable pledges to fight after SEC sprayed and prayed Wells notice. Frenchman behind Trump Polymarket pump has no political agenda. As reported by Wall Street Journal, UBS launches first tokenized investment fund on Ethereum.
Crypto exchange Kraken lays off workers as new co-CEO joins. Coinbase shares fall, as muted crypto trading leads to a third-quarter miss. Guilty FTX executive Nishad Singh dodges prison after cooperating on fraud case.
Coinbase brings real-time deposits via debit cards by partnering with Visa. Circle raises USDC redemption fees and plans IPO. Crypto company Consensus cuts 20% of workforce, citing regulatory uncertainty.
In the US, doctor delays federally funded puberty blockers report for political reasons. Politico comments as, with their just over it, how Trump has converted male frustration into a movement. Quarter of Americans fear civil war after election, British The Times newspaper poll shows.
Georgia election official says, battleground state fended off cyber attack likely from a foreign country. Linus Torvalds affirms expulsion of Russian maintainers, on remove some entries due to various compliance requirements thread, with the various compliance requirements, are not just a US thing.
Donald Trump groped me in what felt like a twisted game with Jeffrey Epstein, former model alleges. Wrong way driver passes Harris motorcade on Milwaukee Highway. McDonald's location visited by Trump attracts negative reviews, causing Yelp to disable comments.
McConnell says MAGA movement is completely wrong, and Reagan wouldn't recognize Trump's GOP. Justice Department warns Elon Musk that his $1 million giveaway to registered voters may be illegal. In the TikTok election, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris v. for younger voters.
Austria president hands runner-up Conservatives' path to rule. Donald Trump files legal complaint against UK Labour Party over help for Kamala Harris. Trump set to go on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Europe mustn't become world's museum, Michel tells ANSA. Georgia prepares for a divisive election which could determine its future in Europe. Barnier says Italy's migrant deal with Albania does not seem doable in France. Migrants return from Albania to Italy after court ruling. TKO Group to acquire IMG Professional Bull Riders and on location from Endeavor for $3.25 billion. Alien Romulus sequel and a secret new Predator movie in the works at 20th Century Studios. Maurizio Catalan's infamous banana will be sold at Sotheby's. The estimate is $1 million.
Radio station in Poland fired its journalists and replaced them with AI presenters. NVIDIA supplier SK Hynix reports record third-quarter financial results amid strong AI memory demand. NVIDIA to supply AI chips to Reliance, partner with Infosys, TCS. NVIDIA CEO says India should focus on exporting AI rather than chips.
In the U.S., senators press for Inspector General probe of Biden and Harris administration weaponizing Department of Justice and FTC leaks. Democratic lawmakers request special counsel investigation into whether Jared Kushner acted as unregistered foreign agent. 20 days ago it has been reported that Trump's son-in-law Kushner has discussed U.S. and Saudi diplomacy with Saudi Crown Prince. Trump says he's open to pardoning Hunter Biden. In Trump versus Harris 2024 polls, Trump up in 3 new surveys, Harris leads in 2 others. As per Scripps News and Ipsos poll, Americans are bracing for violence but prepared to accept election results. Election betting site Polymarket says, Trump whale identified as French traitor.
The Wrap reported that LA Times planned case against Trump series alongside Kamala Harris endorsement before owner quashed it. Washington Post won't endorse in White House race for first time since 1980s, and Bezos made decision to kill Harris endorsement, reports Washington Post. Salon comments as, billionaires have broken media. Washington Post's non-endorsement is a sickening moral collapse. The Post endorses Donald Trump for president, the clear choice for a better future.
The Wall Street Journal comments as Harris struggles to distinguish candidacy from Biden. Mozambique ruling party declared winner of election amid fraud claims. UK willing to hand over Gaza intelligence to War Crimes Court.
The Wall Street Journal reports that federal investigators probe cryptocurrency firm Tether. Tether CEO says he sees no indication of U.S. probe. Reportedly, cryptocurrencies dip after report of U.S. probe of Tether. Hacker returns $19.3 million to drained U.S. government crypto wallet. In the U.S., Biden and Harris administration releases proposed rules to authorize debt relief to nearly 8 million borrowers experiencing hardship. UN report says nations must close huge emissions gap in new climate pledges and deliver immediate action, or 1.5 degrees centigrade lost. Also, continuation of current policies will lead to a catastrophic temperature rise of up to 3.1 degrees centigrade. In the U.S., Biden administration expands tax credit for producing solar, wind and battery components. Space Solar and Transition Labs to deliver space-based solar power to Iceland by 2030, as Iceland poised to tap space-based solar energy by 2030 in landmark deal.
China rivalry will continue into the next decade, U.S. ambassador tells NBC News. Bloomberg comments as, China plays nice with U.S. partners ahead of possible Trump return. Taiwan says blockade would be act of war, as China holds more drills. Chinese official urges Apple to continue deepening presence in China.
Zimbabwe leader declines party's offer to stay until 2030. Venezuela accuses Lula of staging accident to justify BRICS veto. Pope Francis' Catholic Church reform process ends without giving more equity to women.
Vanity Fair comments as, with You've Been a Bad Little Girl, Tucker Carlson gave the most WTF speech of all time at a campaign event for Trump. Only a third of Trump supporters say they'll accept a narrow loss. Salon comments as, with Daddy's Home, Tucker Carlson's bizarre troll distills Trump's false promise to male voters. Putin says Russia won't make concessions to end war on Ukraine. Satellite images show major expansion at Russian site with secret bioweapons passed. Israel strikes Iran military targets, Tehran says damage limited.
Donald Trump tells Joe Rogan the biggest mistake of his presidency was picking bad, disloyal people. The Blaze comments as, Trump's four-star bully chief of staff John Kelly was a traitor within. ADL under fire for silence on Trump's alleged Hitler praise. Trump denies making positive comments about Hitler. 2 days ago, Trump likened to a fascist by General John Kelly, his former chief of staff. Reuters reports that Europe seeks to underpin Russia's sanctions, fearing Trump overhaul.
Elon Musk's secret talks with Putin ramped up during his Twitter takeover, claimed in a The Wall Street Journal report. NASA chief calls for investigation into report that Musk and Putin have spoken regularly. Reportedly, Elon Musk has spent more than $130 million on Trump and the GOP this year. Washington Post comments as, Elon Musk's Starlink satellite business is set to boom if Trump wins.
Iran says 4 soldiers killed, radar systems hit in Israeli strikes. Iran should not respond to Israeli strikes, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says. U.S. warns Iran against retaliation, says it pushes for ceasefire deals in Gaza and Lebanon after Israeli strikes. Iran says Israeli jets struck Iran from Iraqi airspace. U.S. therefore complicit.
Philippines strengthens South China Sea strategy with $56 million Thitu Island upgrade. Top Chinese military commander visits Vietnam for talks on closer cooperation. China and Japan agree to boost maritime cooperation. SCMP comments as, to be a Belt and Road education hub, Hong Kong must teach in Mandarin. Commonwealth leaders say time has come for discussion on UK slavery reparations. British lawmakers accuse Starmer of colonial mindset in slavery reparations debate. Recently, Starmer says he's open to talks on UK's past slave trade. Saudi Arabia begins construction of the world's largest building that could fit 20 empire states inside.
Biden says, men voting for Trump making mistake. Michelle Obama admits fear that Donald Trump could retake White House. Joe Rogan asked Donald Trump for specifics on how 2020 was stolen. Then could only laugh at the answer. India hoping presidential election will not affect partnership with US.
The Telegraph comments as, after Israel's strike, Iran's ailing theocracy may be entering its dying days. Tehran air defense system shoots down Israeli-launched retaliatory airstrikes. Israel met all its objectives in Iran's strike, Netanyahu says. U.S. calls for Tehran's restraint.
Georgia's jailed former president says, Putin's Russia is not ready for a new hot war. A new Iron Curtain could protect us from Putin, says Polish President. Lukashenko says Russian annexation of Belarus means war. Rheinmetall to establish 4 defense factories in Ukraine, and Rheinmetall begins Lynx fighting vehicle production in Ukraine.
Putin once asked Elon Musk to not activate Starlink over Taiwan, as a favor to Xi Jinping, says in a report. Trump praises Chinese president for controlling citizens with an iron fist. Australia rejects visa application by right-wing U.S. pundit Candace Owens.
Russia provided targeting data for Houthi assault on global shipping. Putin says Moscow will respond if West helps Ukraine to strike deep into Russia. It has been commented as, Ukraine's deep strikes on ammo depots and weapons factories across Russia aim to weaken its war machine. Russian arms group warns it may halt exports as Ukraine war demands surge.
Nearly 1 in 4 French people believe that democracy is not the best political system. Hard-right Dutch government approves unprecedented package of measures to control migration. Italy's Meloni government pays homage to fascist defeat in key World War II battle, sparking opposition criticism. North Korea says, any troop deployment to Russia is in regulations of international law. The American Spectator comments as Kim Jong-un pushes South Korea and the world to the brink of war. U.S. approves $2 billion in arms sales to Taiwan, including advanced missile defense system. China vows to take countermeasures over U.S. and Taiwan $2 billion arms deal. China expanding nuclear arsenal at most rapid pace, may junk no first-use policy, says U.S.
Extremists inspired by conspiracy theories pose major threat to 2024 elections. U.S. intelligence warns. Archbishop of San Juan says Trump needs to personally apologize. 1 day ago, offensive Latino, Puerto Rico jokes at Trump MSG rally launch wave of criticism. NAACP poll says Trump support among young black men decreasing.
Google's AI search summaries are rolling out to over 100 more countries. Apple Intelligence rolling out in the European Union starting in April 2025. It has been commented as, Apple's commitment to AI is clear, but its execution is uneven. Apple Intelligence goes live with iOS 18.1 update. Meta is reportedly working on its own AI-powered search engine, too. Daughter of LA Times owner says, endorsement decision stemmed from Harris' stance on Gaza war. Trump-supporting comedian opens MSG rally by calling Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage, and reportedly, Trump's Madison Square Garden rally overshadowed by his allies' crude and racist remarks. Anti-Puerto Rico comments at Trump rally spur outrage as Bad Bunny supports Harris. Walls compares Trump's Madison Square Garden rally to 1939 pro-Nazi event, as DNC projects message tying Trump to Hitler on Madison Square Garden during rally.
Bulgarians head to the polls to vote in 7th general election in 3 years, and far-right tip to gain ground as jaded Bulgarians vote again. EU leader denounces Russia's hybrid war, aiming to destabilize Western Balkan democracies. Montenegro's 2028 EU entry goal is reachable, von der Leyen says.
Biden says Elon Musk was an illegal worker when he began U.S. career, and Elon Musk claps back at puppet Biden as he accuses Tesla CEO of breaching student visa norms. Donald Trump meets with Blue Origin execs the same day. Washington Post declines to endorse a presidential candidate. The Guardian's The Observer editorial comments as, Americans who believe in democracy have no choice but to vote for Harris.
Washington Post cancellations hit 250,000, the 10% of subscribers. In the U.S., political ads driving increase in TV ad revenue to $36.2 billion, S&P projects. Democrats launch ads in nail salons, malls and final swing state sprint.
Biden calls Trump supporters garbage during Harris campaign event as VP promises unity at a Lips rally. Amid backlash, Trump claims no president has done more for Puerto Rico than he has, and Trump denies knowing comedian who made Puerto Rico joke at his rally. Trump calls Harris a fascist, says he is the opposite of a Nazi. J.D. Vance scheduled to sit down for interview with Joe Rogan, as Vance to sit down with Joe Rogan after Harris appearance scrapped. RFK Jr. said Trump promised him control of HHS and USDA. Supreme Court rules RFK Jr. will appear on battleground ballots despite suspending campaign. Passengers removed from Heathrow plane after fight over Trump MAGA cap. Wall says Trump, Vance need classes on how to talk to women.
Harris caught on hot mic admitting her campaign is struggling with male voters. Fires set in drop boxes destroy hundreds of ballots in Washington and damage 3 in Oregon. Borisov wins Bulgarian elections as vote in favor of populists surge. Owner Jeff Bezos defends Washington Post's decision not to endorse as the right, principled one, as Jeff Bezos defends Washington Post non-endorsement, says Americans don't trust media. Over 200,000 subscribers flee Washington Post after Bezos blocks Harris endorsement. Bloomberg, after months of pressure, donates $50 million to help Harris. TV hits Trump with 85% negative news versus 78% positive press for Harris. Harris says she will be sadly ready if Trump prematurely claims victory Tuesday. Fortune reports as, election betting site Polymarket gives Trump a 67% chance of winning but is rife with fake wash trading, researchers say. Iran will likely try to contact Americans directly in influence campaign, sources say.
Russia demands Google pay mind-boggling 2 undecillion rubles over YouTube bans. 1 month ago, Russia warns response to U.S. sanctions on RT will make everyone shudder. EU imposes extra tariffs of up to 35% on China EVs, risking Beijing's backlash. Beijing files WTO complaint over EU's new taxes on Chinese EVs. SAG-AFTRA reaches deal on AI protections with digital replica company Ethivox. X introduces Lightning Notes to show community notes less than 19 minutes from posting. Wall Street Journal comments as X algorithm feeds users political content, whether they want it or not. Trump media is now worth more than Elon Musk's X after stock rallies to new highs.
Washington Post reports as, on Elon Musk's X, Republicans go viral as Democrats disappear. Users spreading U.S. poll misinformation, AI images claim being paid by X, announces in a report. An Elon Musk-funded super PAC is putting out fake pro-Harris ads. As, Elon Musk-funded PAC supercharges Progress 2028 Democrat impersonation ad campaign, whereas Progress 2028 may look like a Democratic response to Project 2025, but it's not. The New Republic comments as, pro-Trump militias are threatening the election, and Meta lets them. And reportedly, Facebook is auto-generating militia group pages, as extremists continue to organize in plain sight.
Schumer pledges to pass anti-Semitism bill in Senate's lame duck session. 3 months ago, Senator Schumer bring the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2023 to the Senate floor. CNN bans guest who suggested Mehdi Hassan's beeper would explode, as right-wing guest booted from CNN mid-segment after vile attack on panelist. In the UK for Southport attack, murder suspect Axel Rudakabana charged after ricin and Al-Qaeda manual found.
Call of Duty franchise reaches $500 million sales, not even counting Black Ops 6. Game of Thrones movie in early development at Warner Brothers. Cliffhanger reboot gets retooled. Lily James, Pierce Brosnan to star as Sylvester Stallone exits. Brigadier General Buzz Aldrin endorses Donald J. Trump for President of the United States. Arnold Schwarzenegger endorses Kamala Harris with Don't Recognize Our Country, as Arnold Schwarzenegger says he'll reluctantly vote for Kamala Harris. USA Today and its 200-plus local affiliates punt on presidential endorsement.
Trump rides in garbage truck in effort to seize on Biden comment. One day ago, Biden suggests Trump supporters are garbage after comics insult of Puerto Rico. Colorado Secretary of State posted spreadsheet with voting system passwords. Oxfam announces that billionaires emit more carbon pollution in 90 minutes than the average person does in a lifetime, through their investments, private jets and yachts. Mike Johnson vows major changes to Affordable Care Act if Trump wins election. Trump Treasury contender pledges to work with Musk to slash spending. Elon Musk asks voters to brace for economic hardship, deep spending cuts in potential Trump cabinet role. U.S. economy grew at a solid 2.8% pace last quarter on strength of consumer spending.
It has been commented as Washington Post obliviously admits conservatives are more popular than liberals online, as Washington Post reports that, on Elon Musk's X, Republicans go viral as Democrats disappear. The American Spectator comments as, if Trump is such a Nazi, why do 80% of Orthodox Jews support him? Trump announced his plan to seize cartel assets to aid families victimized by migrant crime.
Liz Cheney tells George W. Bush to endorse Kamala Harris, with its time. Teen Vogue comments as, Kamala Harris is not our savior. But a Donald Trump win would be catastrophic. Avengers stars assemble to endorse Kamala Harris by brainstorming an election catchphrase. The Hill comments as, in bromance, Joe Rogan and J.D. Vance yuck it up over Kamala Harris and more. Trump attacks Liz Cheney, saying she wouldn't be a war hawk if guns are trained on her face. Europe's Greens ask Jill Stein to pull out of U.S. election to prevent Trump victory. A California property manager said, he voted for Trump 6 times. He's being investigated.
Associated Post sources claim White House altered record of Biden's garbage, remarks despite stenographer concerns. Trump sues CBS News for $10 billion alleging deceptive doctoring of Harris's 60 Minutes interview. CNN comments as, election officials are outmatched by Elon Musk's misinformation machine. The Economist endorses Harris, warns Trump carries unacceptable risks. Kamala Harris says Trump's comments on women are offensive to everybody. Trump says he'll protect women, like it or not, evoking his history of misogyny. Mark Cuban says Trump is never seen with intelligent women, sparking outrage on the right. Mark Cuban issues apology over Trump women remark, with no excuses.
Nobel Prize-winning laboratory spins out startup to build antibody cages with AI-designed proteins. NASA's solar sailing spacecraft has a bent boom and is still tumbling in Earth orbit. Black plastic kitchen utensils, takeout containers, even toys linked to cancer-causing chemicals.
A study claims dog and human vocal interactions match dogs' sensory motor tuning. Visual clutter alters information flow in the brain. Polar bears are being exposed to more pathogens as the climate warms.
The dodo was not fat and clumsy. Study debunks the image we have of the most famous extinct bird. Daylight saving time clock changes have substantial but short-lived effect on how much sleep we get. Standing desks are bad for your health, according to a new study, as standing desks do not reduce risk of stroke and heart failure, study suggests.
New research shows genetic adaptations help Tibetans thrive at high elevations. DNA helps match Wellman skeleton to 800-years-old Norwegian saga. Scientists develop DNA technology in data storage breakthrough. Cats can learn words faster than human babies, study suggests. Study finds, most meteorites come from just 3 sources. Smoke pollution from wildfires may be killing an extra 12,000 people a year, new research suggests.
Universal shares details on Celestial Park, centerpiece of upcoming Epic Universe 4th Gate in Orlando. Star Wars is finally canonizing its forgotten ugly rat monsters, as Star Wars skeleton crew will bring back the teak from Ewok movie The Battle for Endor.
Trump hurls a string of insults at Harris including lazy, a racist trope against black people. Trump raged at slain soldiers' funeral bill, with $60K to bury AF *****ing Mexican. Trump fits the definition of fascist and said Hitler did some good things, John Kelly says. CNN host wonders if Democrats should drop the Latinx framing. Nikon 50th Small World 2024 photomicrography competition announced winners. First place goes to differentiated mouse brain tumor cells. Frankie Muniz announces he's becoming a full-time driver in the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Video of stray dog climbing Egypt's second-largest pyramid goes viral.
Hans Zimmer's Dune 2 score fails to meet eligibility requirements for Oscars. Disney removes Blade reboot from release calendar, replaces with Predator Badlands. Japan's online video sector will drive domestic screen industry. Total industry revenue set to hit $34 billion by 2029, as per MPA report.
GelSight and Meta AI introduce Digit 360 tactile sensor. Quantum Schrodinger's cat survives for a stunning 23 minutes, where light matter entanglement creates Schrodinger cat states. Scientists confirm monkeys do not have the time to write Shakespeare. Conor McGregor to face sexual assault allegation in upcoming civil trial. 16 vloggers, TikTokers arrested in Pakistan's Punjab for spreading fake news of rape. Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 sets July 2026 release, following Avengers: Doomsday. Universal Music uses AI voice cloning tool to create Spanish-language version of Brenda Lee's hit, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Cable industry trade group sues FTC, seeking to block click-to-cancel rule. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass by up to 4 million subs, but at the cost of 6 million lost sales, analysts predict. Scots Children's Hospital introduces Gamer-in-Residence in UK first. Nintendo's Switch Online playtest goes live, and players immediately leak gameplay and even stream it.
Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test set for October 28th to 30th for PlayStation Plus members. October 31st to November 3rd for all. Hidden 2,000 years old skeletons and Holy Grail cup found in Secret Tomb, where Indiana Jones was filmed. Hallmark did not want to cast old people like Holly Robinson Peete and Lacey Chabert, suit claims. TikTok will now show its STEM feed to adults, not just teens. Adobe made its painting app completely free to take on Procreate. In Poland, Antitrust Authority investigates Meta for limiting visibility of posts linking to Polish media.
A Chopin waltz unearthed after nearly 200 years. Universal Music strikes strategic deal with ethical AI music company Clay Vision. Dolly Parton receives U.S. Department of State and Recording Academy's Peace Through Music Award for 2024.
Trump says only he can prevent World War III, but his embrace of autocrats endangers the USA. Advisors propose that Trump give security clearances without FBI vetting. Bad Bunny, Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin pledged support for Kamala Harris. Good omens to end with one 90-minute episode as Neil Gaiman exits following sexual assault allegations. Sean Diddy Combs hosted parties on big showbiz nights. Gerard Depardieu requests delay in sexual assault trial citing health concerns. Tom Hanks says he and Forrest Gump co-star Robin Wright picked up right where we left off when reuniting for new film. Aardman and Mattel to co-develop Pingu animated TV series. Real Housewives of London coming in 2025 from Hayu and Made in Chelsea producer.
Fandom has toxified the world, says Watchmen author Alan Moore on superheroes, Comicsgate and Trump. Hideo Kojima games have already gotten big reappraisals 5 to 10 years after release. Now the auteur says he wants to make games that will impress space aliens centuries into the future. James Cameron says the reality of artificial general intelligence is scarier than the fiction of it.
Apple making Oregon Trail movie that will be an action comedy with Barbie-style musical numbers, claimed in a report. Hong Kong film A Light Never Goes Out disqualified from 2024 Oscars due to conflict of interest. Netflix, Universal renew animated movie licensing deal in U.S. will add live-action titles starting in 2027.
In Japan, for fake investment fraud, Meta sued for 400 million yen, claiming it failed to investigate. As fake ads impersonating celebrities caused harm by being ignored, lawsuits filed in 5 district courts across the country against Meta. Brazil Institute sues social media giants for $525 million over usage by minors. Reportedly, Japanese manga publisher Shueisha hunts manga pirates but needs Google, PayPal and Visa to assist. 5 months ago, Shueisha DMCA subpoena targets 24 manga piracy sites. Pompeii archaeologists discover ancient tiny house with elaborate frescoes. Laser archaeology finds lost Maya cities hidden under forests. A student discovers lost Mayan city in Mexico jungle by accident. Meow Wolf announces opening date, theme for Houston location. Instagram saves the best video quality for the most popular content. Meta releases an open version of Google's podcast generator. Study reveals that Wikipedia users are divided into 3 types, as nosy people, hunters, and dancers. OpenAI CFO says 75% of its revenue comes from paying consumers. Claude AI gets bored during coding demonstration, starts perusing photos of national parks instead. Microsoft says Google is running shadow campaigns in Europe to influence regulators.
Texas Instruments says it's nearing recovery after sales slump. ARM to scrap Qualcomm chip design license in feud escalation. TSMC told US of chip in Huawei product after TechInsights finding, source say.
Pinocchio slasher film from Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey team casts horror vets Robert Englund and Richard Brake. New Godzilla movie in the works from Godzilla-1 director Takashi Yamazaki. Tom Cruise in early talks for Days of Thunder sequel.
Idris Elba to move to Africa to bolster the film industry. Gerard Depardieu's French actor's sexual assault trial opens in Paris. U.S. actor Armie Hammer teases return to Hollywood after sexual misconduct allegations. 1 year ago, Armie Hammer avoids charges after sex assault investigation, says name has been cleared. Amazon invests in Spotter, which has paid out more than $940 million to creators. John Krasinski to star in Jack Ryan movie at Amazon MGM Studios as franchise enters new phase of series extension. Wendell Pierce returning and Michael Kelly in talks. Yankee Stadium fans ejected for prying ball from Mookie Betts' glove.
Grammy Awards to move from CBS to Disney in 2027 with 10 years streaming and broadcast deal. Award-winning creator of Barbie gears up to adapt beloved Narnia series for Netflix. Robert Downey Jr. says he intends to sue all future executives who use his AI replica.
Microsoft-owned LinkedIn fined €310 million by Irish Data Protection Commission. 16 months ago, Microsoft flags over $400 million charge for Irish privacy violation fine on LinkedIn. Perplexity CEO proposes revenue deals for publishers after lawsuit.
Flock Safety paid over $300 million for 17-month-old drone startup Aerodome. Apple sharply scales back production of Vision Pro. Kroger and Walmart deny surge pricing after adopting digital price tags.
Fortinet warns of new critical 40 manager flaw used in zero-day attacks. Efforts by Russia, Iran, and China to sway U.S. voters may escalate, new Microsoft report says. An investigation exposes data brokers using ads to help track almost any phone. Hundreds of doctors are demanding Trump's health records. Kamala Harris accused of entering law school under a hardship program she didn't qualify for. Bill Gates privately says he has backed Harris with $50 million donation. Huawei makes divorce from Android official with HarmonyOS next launch. Apple working on new app store-like app dedicated to games. Epic Games launches Fab Unified Digital Content Marketplace.
Graphene oxide and chitosan sponge found to be 10 times more efficient at removing gold from e-waste. Quantum secret of hydrogen bonds in liquid water revealed for the first time.
Video game libraries lose legal appeal to emulate physical game collections online, as U.S. copyright law forces researchers to explore extra-legal methods for game preservation, say historians who are disappointed after being denied a DMCA exemption. They wish this technology didn't exist. Perplexity responds to News Corp's lawsuit. 4 days ago, with content kleptocracy, News Corp outlets sue Perplexity over scraped stories. Meta strikes multi-year AI deal with Reuters. Delta sues CrowdStrike over software update that prompted mass flight disruptions. 4 evil ransomware members sentenced in rare Russian cybercrime convictions. North Korean IT workers in Western firms now demanding ransom for stolen data.
IDC announces that Chinese smartphone market continues growth streak with 3.2% rise in 3Q24. Apple shares private cloud compute virtual research environment provides bounties for vulnerabilities. Apple returns to top 5 smartphone ranking in China with iPhone 16 as Huawei battle ramps up.
Trump, who says he would fire Jack Smith within 2 seconds, moves to challenge special counsel's role in election case. Newsweek comments as, Donald Trump's McDonald's shift went down best with Gen Z. Trump says U.S. is like a garbage can for the world, as he rails against illegal immigration.
California governor proposes $750 million in annual film tax credits. Using AI to replace an actor is now against the law in California. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says media firms should have control of output used in AI. The Fediverse is getting its own TikTok competitor called Loops. TSMC faces severe challenges as free trade falters, founder says. Google prepares AI that takes over computers.
After promising full self-driving updates for years, Elon Musk finally admits that most existing Teslas may never be able to drive themselves. Mazda's new EREV promises 800 miles range, charges 30% to 80% in 15 minutes. Germany's Mercedes sees profits nosedive on weak China sales. Mercedes-Benz and Porsche hit by weak sales in China.
Notorious hacker group Team TNT launches new cloud attacks for crypto mining. CertUA identifies malicious RDP files in latest attack on Ukrainian entities. In France, hacker claims to have stolen data of 19 million free subscribers and 5 million IBANs.
North Korean hackers used fake NFT game to steal wallet credentials, claims a report. New Google cyber attack warning comes as Russian APT-28 hackers strike, with new cyber attack warning, confirming you are not a robot can be dangerous. Transact data breach exposes 92K users, employee phishing attack, ransomware group claims responsibility.
Google Chrome adding performance issue alerts to desktop. Siemens nears deal to buy $9 billion automotive software developer Altair. Claimed in a report, AI demand grows Alphabet revenue 15% to $88.3 billion. Russia is getting NVIDIA AI chips from a very unlikely source, an Indian drug firm. U.S. finalizes rules to curb AI investments in China. Impose other restrictions. TSMC cuts off at least 2 chip clients over potential Huawei links.
Philadelphia DA sues Elon Musk's America PAC over $1 million giveaway. Robinhood jumps into election trading, giving users chance to buy Harris or Trump contracts. Steve Bannon is released from prison in time for the last week push to Election Day. 4 months ago, Steve Bannon ordered to report to prison by July 1st to serve contempt of Congress sentence, and 3 months ago, Steve Bannon turns himself into prison after Supreme Court appeal rejected.
NVIDIA overtakes Apple as world's most valuable company. Andreessen Horowitz is building a stash of more than 20,000 GPUs to win AI deals. Replica Michael Parkinson to host world first AI podcast. Channel 4 greenlights Poison documentary.
Delhi High Court orders Wikipedia to take down page on ANI defamation suit. 10 days ago, ANI asks HC to initiate contempt case against Wikipedia, says 36 hours deadline over. AWS, Azure authentication keys found in Android and iOS apps used by millions. Pokémon Maker confirms it was victim of hack, and hackers hit Pokémon developer Game Freak, expose troves of sensitive data.
Nintendo launches music app with soundtracks from classic games including Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda. Temya to face EU probe over handling of illegal product sales. Ubisoft very silently launches blockchain RPG with playable NFTs that cost up to $63,000. Reuters reports that Intel's CEO Pat Gelsinger fumbled the revival of an American icon. And Intel made a big mistake when CEO offended TSMC, Reuters says. 3 years ago, TSMC says few people will fall for Intel claim that Taiwan is unstable. Previously, Intel CEO calls Taiwan unstable and questions chip dependency on Asia, then TSMC responds to the claim. OpenAI builds first chip with Broadcom and TSMC, scales back foundry ambition. Linus Torvalds slams AI as 90% marketing and 10% reality.
Russian hackers are targeting U.S. officials, Microsoft says. Trump family members and Biden aides among China-hacked targets. Fitness app Strava gives away location of Biden, Trump and other leaders, French newspaper says.
South Korean national arrested in China on suspicion of espionage. Bloomberg comments as, U.S. efforts to contain Xi's push for tech supremacy are faltering. Beijing claims it's found underwater lighthouses that its foes use for espionage.
UK visa process for AI experts should be streamlined, says government advisor. Wall Street Journal reports that Elon Musk's XAI in talks to raise funding valuing it at $40 billion. LinkedIn is introducing hiring assistant for recruiter and jobs as first AI agent.
Apple offers iPhone 14 Plus service program for rear camera issue with devices which were manufactured between April 10, 2023 to April 28, 2024. Will provide service free of charge. OnePlus 13 with Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset, 6,000 mAh battery launched in China. Android 16 coming Q2 2025 as Google readies more frequent SDK releases. Elon Musk wants to send 30,000 more Starlink satellites into space, and it has astronomers worried. European Union to build its own satellite internet constellation as the EU reaches agreement on new satellite constellation Iris. EU's Starlink rival, Iris-2, won't offer full service until early 2030s. Apple to invest up to $1.5 billion in Globalstar for satellite coverage expansion. NFL players push back on media interviews in their locker rooms. 1 month ago, NFLPA calls to move media interviews out of locker rooms to respect players' privacy and dignity. Apple told TikTok it's unfit for young teens. New lawsuit details allege. Cloud Forest in Ecuador could be recognized as songwriter in radical legal proposition.
CISA announces that JCDC's industry government collaboration speeds mitigation of CrowdStrike IT outage. In Canada, tens of thousands of taxpayer accounts hacked as CRA repeatedly paid out millions in bogus refunds. Hacked info from Italy's security databases sold to rich clients, prosecutors say. Mossad agents allegedly bought info on Russia from Italian firm marred in snooping scandal. As massive hack for hire scandal rocks Italian political elites.
Intel posts updated Raptor, Lake microcode for Linux, fixes voltage issue, and other bugs. Steam now requires developers to tell people when their games have kernel mode anti-cheat. OpenAI releases Simple QA, a factuality benchmark that measures the ability for language models to answer short, fact-seeking questions.
Taiwan's Tsinghua University uses a photon to build the world's smallest, the single photon, quantum computer. OpenAI released a new approach, called SCM, in sampling procedure with high quality to leading diffusion models, while using only 2 sampling steps. Biden administration urges U.S. agencies to harness AI systems for national security, as Biden administration outlines government guardrails for AI tools. Google DeepMind is making its AI text watermark open source. Boy, 14, fell in love with Game of Thrones chatbot, then killed himself after AI app told him to come home to her, the mom. To keep deepfakes from infiltrating its site, Yahoo News enlists help from McAfee.
Amazon's AI data center dream runs into the reality of zombie facilities, higher costs, and labor shortages. Former OpenAI researcher says the company broke copyright law. Google's $2 billion Anthropic investment faces UK antitrust scrutiny. More than 11,000 creatives condemn unauthorized use of content for AI development. OpenAI hires former White House official as chief economist. South Arkansas could have enough lithium to meet projected 2030 global demand. Researchers say Arkansas may have 19 tons of lithium critical for battery power.
Runway Ari's research launches Act 1 to create compelling animations using video and voice performances as inputs. Asana announces AI Studio, no-code builder for designing and deploying AI agents in critical workflows. Stability claims its newest stable diffusion models generate more diverse images. Washington Post publisher says he killed Kamala Harris endorsement, not Jeff Bezos, said in a report. 1 year ago, Washington Post taps former Dow Jones chief William Lewis as new CEO. New York City Mayor Adams refutes Kamala Harris, says Trump is not a fascist as he urges Democrats to dial down the temperature. Trump floats ending the federal income tax.
Researchers say an AI-powered transcription tool used in hospitals invents things no one ever said. LinkedIn says it has verified 55 million users in effort to combat AI's spread of scams, misinformation. OpenAI CEO responds to report of GPT-5 Orion coming later this year, with fake news out of control, as OpenAI says it won't release a model called Orion this year. One day it had been reported as, OpenAI reportedly plans to release its Orion AI model by December. Perplexity says it's now serving 100M search queries a week. Reportedly, Microsoft x OpenAI discussed buying Perplexity. A report claimed that Google targeting December launch for Gemini 2. Meta releases quantized Llama 3.2 with 4x inference speed on Android phones.
OpenAI to release new AI model Orion by December, announced in a report. Meta releases quantized Llama 3.2 with 4x inference speed on Android phones. They wish this technology didn't exist. Perplexity responds to News Corp's lawsuit. 4 days ago, with content kleptocracy, News Corp outlets sue Perplexity over scraped stories. Meta strikes multi-year AI deal with Reuters.
Musk has been in contact with Putin Russian officials since 2022, the Wall Street Journal reports. ISD report claims that Russian propaganda exploits U.S. hurricane response to undermine FEMA and Ukraine support. Mysterious monument on Capitol Hill honors January 6th with a bronze turd.
Washington Post comments as, the AI boom may unleash a global surge in electronic waste. Bloomberg comments as, AI's $1.3 trillion future increasingly hinges on Taiwan. 46% of NVIDIA's revenue came from 4 mystery customers last quarter.
Meta AI has more than 500 million users. Meta's next Llama AI models are training on a GPU cluster bigger than anything else. 1 month ago it had been reported as, Meta will soon get a 100,000 GPU cluster too. South Korea's chip production falls for first time in 14 months. Microsoft CFO says OpenAI investment will cut into profit this quarter. Microsoft says AI is on pace to be a $10 billion a year business.
GitHub Copilot will support models from Anthropic, Google, and OpenAI. And GitHub's Octoverse report announces that AI leads Python to top language, as the number of global developers surges. Global AI boom to triple EU data center energy use by 2030. Google CEO announces that more than a quarter of new code at Google is generated by AI.
Gartner predicts AI agents will transform work, but disillusionment is growing. Open-source AI must reveal its training data. Per new OSI definition, Polish broadcaster shuts down AI-run radio station after a week following backlash.
In the U.S., an AI tool used in thousands of criminal cases is facing legal challenges. In Australia, students asked to analyze a photograph they suspect is AI-generated in HSC exam. In Ireland, an Post unveils first AI-generated stamps.
SEC charges 4 companies with misleading cyber disclosures on Unisys, Avaya, Checkpoint, and Mimecast. In the U.S., former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch and 2 other individuals charged with sex trafficking and interstate prostitution. McDonald's quarter-pounder burgers linked to E. coli outbreak.
NVIDIA set to replace Intel in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Google's Big Sleep AI project uncovers real software vulnerabilities. Reuters reports that Walt Disney forms business unit to coordinate use of AI and augmented reality.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says lack of compute capacity is delaying the company's products, and Sam Altman says no GPT-5 this year in Reddit AMA. OpenAI brings a new web search tool to ChatGPT. Amazon CEO reveals new Alexa will work as AI agent. Mark Zuckerberg says a lot more AI-generated content is coming to fill up your Facebook and Instagram feeds. Reuters reports that Chinese researchers develop AI model for military use on back of Meta's Llama. Firewall maker Sophos reveals 5-year battle with Chinese hackers attacking network devices. North Korea announces ICBM launch. Japan and US condemn it.
Indonesia bans sales of Google phones days after blocking Apple's iPhone 16. EU to probe NVIDIA's acquisition of RU and AI after Italy. Largest U.S. drone manufacturer says it will need to ration batteries for customers after sanctions by China, as Chinese sanctions hit U.S. drone maker supplying Ukraine.
U.S. adults in worse health than British counterparts at midlife. Gaza children dying as Israel curtails medical evacuations, UN agencies say. Philips cuts sales outlook as China demand wanes.
40% of men in Japan feel awkward at work after taking paternity leave. In Thailand, retirement age to go up to 65, as announced by the ministry. UK to reduce benefit cuts for indebted households, Guardian says.
South Africa has amended its research guidelines to allow for heritable human genome editing. Canadian Senate unanimously supports bill to enforce sterilization of Indigenous women.
A retinal implant helped blind people see again. Apple tests blood sugar app in sign of its health ambitions. Researchers discover waste disposal system in the brain. United Health says data of 100 million stolen in Change Healthcare breach. On February 21st, Change Healthcare was the subject of a cybersecurity incident that impacted the submission and payment of some health insurance claims and pharmacy benefits. In the U.S., CDC recommends second COVID vaccine dose for those 65 and older. Gambling poses huge global threat to public health, experts warn.
Fired Disney staffer accused of hacking menu to add profanity, wingdings, removes allergen info. Study suggests that Jedi rodents remotely move matter using sound to enhance their sense of smell. The owners of a New Zealand volcano that erupted in 2019, killing 22 people, appeal their conviction.
Army ordered to release records on Trump's Arlington cemetery visit. Trump defends right to make threats against FEMA workers. Axios reports that Americans split on idea of putting immigrants in militarized camps. Man declared brain dead wakes up as organs about to be removed. Ghostly white giant worms appear to be reproducing under the seafloor where tectonic plates meet. Sotheby's to auction its first artwork made by a humanoid robot. Scientists propose shooting $200 trillion worth of pulverized diamonds into atmosphere as Harvard scientists think filling the sky with diamond dust could cool down the planet.
Russia's torture of Ukrainian civilians. Prisoners is a crime against humanity. UN expert panel says more than 100 BBC staff accuse broadcaster of Israel bias in Gaza coverage. Displacement in Sudan crosses 11 million as devastating crisis reaches new heights, announces IOM chief.